Hello, everyone. Nellie here, founder and CEO of CorpNet.com. I want to wish everyone a very, very happy Thanksgiving week. We're here today and we welcome you for our bonus live today in November. And we have a lot to cover. We've been getting a ton of questions from all of you and from our community, from our partners, from our clients about some popular year-end filings. So we decided to put this live for you today. And one of the biggest questions that we're getting right now is about delayed filings, which I'll break it down for you throughout this live, but really about when is the best time to set up a new business. Should we do it now? Should we do it at the beginning of the year? Can I do it now for the new year? And are there any tools or resources that CorpNet can point me to? So we will be focusing today on a very popular filing tool, which is called our delayed filing, which is really popular at year end. So before we dive into it, I want to also remind everybody that we're going to be coming up with another bonus live for you all in December. So stay tuned for that. And I want to also remind you that that bonus live will be all about all of the year-end filings that any business owner should make sure they have crossed off their to-do list to ensure that you guys are getting yourselves set up and also your clients set up for the new year. So without any further ado, let's get started on today's agenda, which is all about delayed filings. Okay. So let's talk about delayed filing. So what is a delayed filing? A delayed filing provides control over when a corporation or LLC goes into effect. It's basically if you're trying to form a corporation or an LLC and you want to submit the filings to the state office, but you want the actual filing date to be on a specific date in the future, we call this a delayed filing. Now, in states that allow delayed effective filing dates, business owners can set the date when they want their company to be officially filed with the Secretary of State, yet file the paperwork now to prevent delays. Business owners, entrepreneurs can select an effective date of January 1st or after January 1st if the state office is closed on January 1st. And we know most states' offices are, but if you want a corporation or LLC to be effective on or after January 1st, but you want to, submit the paperwork in advance to have an effective guaranteed filing date of on January 1st or after, this makes it nice and clean to submit the paperwork as a delayed filing request and get the paperwork done ahead of time. So that's the beauty of what a delayed filing is. It allows you to submit paperwork to bring a corporation or an LLC into existence prior to the new year, but with a request to have the effective date of the filing to be on or after January 1st. Now, here's some of the advantages of a delayed filing. You are delaying the effective date to avoid an extra year of fees or taxes. So many states, for example, charge annual franchise taxes or report fees as soon as a business comes into existence, even if it's December. So let's say, you're forming a corporation or an LLC this year in December. If it's prior to December 17th, I believe, for most states, December 15th or 17th, for most states, if you file it before that date, you're still going to have to pay franchise tax fees and filing fees for this year, in addition to paying next year's taxes. So here's an example for you. Like, Let's say a founder wants to form an LLC in California, but it's already November. By delaying the effective date to January 1st, they avoid paying that $800 California franchise tax for the previous year, saving $800 for just waiting a few weeks. So delayed filings can really be a cost savings to your business if you're planning on starting a new business for the new year. Now, here's another advantage is that you're aligning the start date with the fiscal tax year. Some owners delay filing so that their accounting starts clean on January 1st, which simplifies bookkeeping, payroll setup, and tax prep. An example here for you is like, let's say a business is converting from an LLC to an S Corp, files articles of amendment in December, but sets the effective date for January 1st. That way, the entire year is taxed under the new structure without splitting it across two systems. Here's another advantage is aligning licensing or permit cycles. What are we talking about here? We're talking about professional services or regulated companies may time entity formation to align with the license renewal schedules. An example of this is, let's say a contractor is forming an LLC in a state where licenses renew each July, sets a July 1st effective date so that the state doesn't prorate fees or force two renewals in 1 year. Another advantage is the fact that with a delayed filing, you're avoiding mid-year payroll setup burdens. If a business will hire employees early next year, delaying formation avoids needing to establish payroll accounts, the SUI account, the SIT account numbers, and obtaining those numbers and tax registrations twice in a short window. So here's an example of this. A cafe is opening in February, delays its corporation formation to January 1st. So all payroll registrations align with the new year, making audits and quarterly filings easier. Another advantage of a delayed filing is locking in a name now, but starting at the entity later. Some owners want to secure a business name, but aren't ready to operate yet. Filing now with a delayed effective start date accomplishes both of those agendas. We have an example here for you of, for example, a business owner secures the name Green Wave Robotics LLC in November, but delays the effective date to March 1st, giving them the time to finalize fundraising before the entity becomes active. Another advantage of a delayed filing is delaying a dissolution or withdrawal to reduce tax compliance burdens. So, in this example, we're talking about a business closing its operations but delaying those business operations closing effective date to a future effective date. Because guess what? A delayed filing request is not only for when a corporation or an LLC comes into existence. It works for any type of filings, including dissolutions, withdrawals, and also terminations. So, an example of this would be when a business wants to close its operations in October, delays its dissolution effective date to December 31st, allowing the company to finish out the year clean and avoiding the need to file a return for a partial. You know, to file a partial tax return for the following year. There are other advantages of having a delayed filing or submitting a delayed filing request. One is strategic timing for multi state filings. So, we're talking about foreign qualifications here that often create this obligation immediately. And it creates also obligations when it comes to franchise taxes, annual reports, and also registered agent representations and uh, fees that go along with these filings. So here's an example. We're talking about a company planning to expand to Texas, delays its foreign registration to on or after January 1st. So it avoids owning two annual reports in two quick sessions, i.e., if they were to file prior to January 1st, they would have to submit an annual report for the prior year along with the new year. Um, there's also the advantage of managing public records timings. What we're talking about here is founders who want to stay, a stealth until launch can delay when their entity publicly appears in state records. So, tech startup files, for example, in December, but delays its effective date to mid-February because they don't want competitors seeing the entity before their investment announcement. So here's another advantage of why a delayed filing in this case would be effective. Now, the question becomes when to submit a delayed filing. Keep in mind, different states have different rules as to how far in advance they will receive a delayed filing or accept a delayed filing, or if the state will accept it at all. For example, below I've listed a sampling of state requirements. Again, a delayed filing is a state by state requirement. Some states don't recognize it. Some states do. Some states have specific guidelines as to when a delayed filing can be submitted. So it's a state by state requirement, and delayed filing rules vary from state to state. But here's, for example, a list we've provided you here. In that, for example, in the state of Alabama, you can submit a delayed filing and request up to 90 days in the future to have that filing effective. Same with Arizona, same with Arkansas and California and Colorado. However, in the state of Delaware, for example, it's 180 days that you can request that delayed filing to be have a future effective filing up to 180 days for LLCs, and again a future effective filing up to 90 days for corporations. Florida and New Jersey, same thing, is 90 days. Pennsylvania, for example, has no limit. You can form a corporation or an LLC and have the filing date up to 6 or 8 months in the future. But most states generally allow for up to 90 days in the future for corporations and LLCs. Now, states that do not allow delayed effective filing dates, if you recall, I mentioned that there are a handful of states that don't even recognize delayed filings. And in most states, you have to check the state's requirement to see if they offer delayed filing. If they do, then what are the rules as it, pertains to delayed filings? But some states don't even recognize delayed effective filing dates at all. And the states are Alaska, Connecticut, Hawaii, Idaho, Louisiana, Maryland, Minnesota, Nevada, and Virginia. Now, the question becomes, now that I know what a delayed filing is, which states recognizes and which states don't, how do I request a delayed filing? So, generally speaking, when it relates to forming a new entity, bringing a corporation or LLC into existence, you definitely want to choose a business structure, decide on the effective date, make sure you have the name, the designated agent for the service of process, the state that you're going to be filing in, and then drafting the articles of incorporation or organization for that state, requiring the paperwork identifying that this is going to have a delayed effective date of filing. Now, the same is true if you're trying to close a business or withdraw from a state, because if you recall, delayed effective filings don't just apply to newly formed corporations and LLCs. They also apply to when a business is trying to shut down or withdraw from any foreign qualified state. But there are points to remember as you register for a new corporation or LLC. You'll need to specify the number of days after the filing when you want the business structure to be effective. So you're going to have to specify an effective filing date according to that state's rules as to how far in the future you can go. You want to make sure the articles of incorporation and or the articles of organization reflect the correct effective date. And if your state doesn't have a designated provision within the formation paperwork, then you can add the additional provision because of that state actually, recognizing delayed effective filings, but not having a specific provision within its, standard form articles of incorporation. So if a state recognizes delayed effective filings, but in their standard form articles of organization or incorporation, they don't have the actual um, verbiage for delayed effective filing date, you can always add that into the articles of incorporation or organization. And again, keep in mind, all of this is something that you could do on your own, or you can have a reputable filing company such as our company handle all of the paperwork for you in any of the 50 states. Now, we have a bunch of helpful resources, as I mentioned, and I'm glad we're hearing that. I've gone over delayed filings with you. We do everything here at CorpNet. So we don't just do delayed filings, we are a nationwide leader as it relates to doing any type of business filing as it relates to starting a business, whether it's setting up a sole proprietorship, partnership, incorporating a business, forming an LLC, um, setting up a professional corporation, a nonprofit corporation, a PLLC. We set up any type of corporation in all of the 50 states, any type of LLC in all of the 50 states. In addition to that, we can help you expand an existing corporation or LLC in any of the 50 states. We can also help you with an existing corporation or LLC to keep it in compliance. Let's say that corporation or LLC is now hiring employees in a specific state. We can help you in registering payroll taxes. Let's say you're pulling out of the state and you're no longer paying employees on payroll within that state. We can close your tax registration account. So we do everything from A to Z as it relates to starting, growing, and keeping a business in compliance throughout the lifestyle of the business. In addition to that, for example, we offer great tools that could be your resources, such as checking on the name for business availability if you're planning to bring a new corporation or LLC into existence. We have a great interactive business structure wizard tool whereby if you or your clients need assistance in choosing the right type of business entity for a business, we can help guide you by you answering a few questions through this wizard tool we have, and it pops out the answers that are best for a particular business, and it's going to have the best tax implications. We also have a CorpNet compliance portal with monitoring and proactive alerts whereby any business for free can load up their entities, whether you're representing clients and you represent clients with multiple entities, or you're representing clients with a plethora of entities. We can manage all of those for you so that you can do what you do best, which is providing your clients with sound financial advice and letting us do all the legwork by making sure we keep track of every one of your clients' business entities and giving you proactive alerts as to when their compliance filings are due so that you don't have to worry about it. If your clients have corporations and need annual meeting minutes, we can draft those for you in all 50 states. And in addition, we have a plethora of business guides and checklists, along with our CorpNet blog that gets updated every week with very, very, very time sensitive content that is anywhere from starting to planning to growing all the way down to closing a business. So, with that said, it's been an absolute pleasure. Providing you guys some tips on this information on delayed filings. Um, for those of you listening in and are considering CorpNet, um, again, I've told you a little bit about what our company does. We also have an amazing partner program where if you're considering offering these types of services to your clients, you can partner with us and start offering corporation business filings and corporate compliance services to your clients by becoming either a CorpNet white label resale partner or becoming a referral partner. Our partner program is truly designed to meet you where you are. It's a pay as you go service. There is no setup fees, there's no ongoing fees, there is literally no annual fees. It's a pay as you go service, and it's designed to meet you and your needs. So if you simply want to set up a relationship with CorpNet and partner with us where you can refer your clients to us, knowing and having the peace of mind that we're not going to poach your clients, but we're going to take care of them and bring them right back to you. You can refer your clients to us, and you can earn a commission on each sale, or you can waive that commission and pass it on as a discount to your clients. Either way, your clients are going to get white glove treatment and 24/7 support from experts in the industry. Let's say you don't want your clients to know that we're doing all the work on the back end. You can resell our services to your clients and attract more clients and increase revenues. In this setup, you would get wholesale pricing. You would request, you can and could obtain private white label services. You can set your own pricing and make a little bit more of a profit. But either way, again, you're getting 24/7 personalized support with expert knowledge at your fingertips. And you get to offer all of these new service offerings and add them and an additional stream of revenue to your already existing suite of services. Again, people are looking for one-stop shop. So if you're not offering these services to your clients and you're literally holding yourself to be an advisory firm, you're really, really cutting yourself short, because this is just additional stream of revenue, and your clients are looking for these services and they want one place to go to get all of these filings done. So for more information, log on to www.corpnet.com/partners, or literally call us and we'll be happy to demo this partner program to you and for you and get you all set up so you're all set up to offer these services in the new year. With that, I want to open up the live to any questions that we have. And we have one question, which is, what types of filings can be delayed? Can any type of filing be delayed? Absolutely. Again, a delayed filing can be done with any corporation or LLC in any state that recognizes delayed filings. It can also be done on any type of other type of filing, such as dissolution, an amendment, a reinstatement. So it really does not, it's not limited to just setting up a corporation or LLC. It applies to any type of filings as long as the state recognizes delayed filings. Um, Another question that we have is, how far into the future can a delayed filing be recognized? Again, great question. As I mentioned to you a little bit earlier on this live, in that for those states that recognize delayed filings, those states that recognize it specifically have a rule as to how far into the future a delayed filing can be, uh, recognize. Most states recognize a delayed effective filing date of up to 90 days. Delaware for LLCs goes up to 180 days. But typically, for most states, you can delay the effective filing date on a corporation or LLC in those states that recognize delayed effective filing dates up to 90 days in the future. And then, we have one state, Pennsylvania, that has no limit. You can go anywhere as long as you like into the future as far as setting your delayed effective filing date. Um, we have another question. Lots of questions today. I'm really excited. If my client delays their filing until January 1st, does it affect state payroll registrations? So here's the bottom line. It's a great question. Um, If you're trying to register for state tax registrations and you're trying to register for those state tax registrations as a corporation or an LLC, then if you're delaying the effective filing date of that entity to on or after January 1st, it's best to have those state tax registrations completed on or after January 1st as well. So I hope that I'm just trying to see if we have any more questions here. Um, let's see. We have one more question. This is the last one, I believe, and it's how much lead time does CorpNet need to process a delayed filing to ensure the effective date is met? Great question. So, generally speaking, if you're trying to get your corporation or LLC um, submitted now for a future effective filing date, I would urge you to submit them prior to December 15th, to make sure you can have a guaranteed effective filing date of on January 1st or after. And the reason why is because most states at the beginning of the year, with everyone rushing to form a corporation or LLC in the new year, there may be a backlog at the state office. So we urge you, if you're trying to get a new business entity set up and effective for the new year, to try to submit the paperwork to CorpNet prior to 12/15 of this year so we can ensure you're in line. Now, if you submitted it after 12/15, that's okay too. There may be some expedited fees that we may have to deal with at that time. But again, we're here for you. My team is here for you. CorpNet is here for you. And again, you can always contact us and we can answer any of your questions directly if I haven't answered them today. So, with that, I really want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I want to wish all of you a very, very safe and happy Thanksgiving. I'm grateful for this community. I'm grateful for all of our partners here that are so loyal to us and support us on a daily basis. I'm grateful for my wonderful team who inspires me daily, and all of you, my clients, who inspire me daily to continue to put out amazing content. And we're just grateful all around that we get to be here and be of service to all of you in this community. I also want to remind you to mark your calendars for our next bonus live, which will be on Wednesday, December 17th at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Again, I will host it myself and share important information for you and your clients, and what you need to know about payroll setup, uh, payroll tax closure, payroll tax setup, payroll tax amendments, everything you need to know about registering for payroll taxes, closing up payroll tax accounts, anything you need for the new year. So again, my name is Nellie Akalp. I thank you again for joining. And if you missed it today, we will be posting this on our social channels and on LinkedIn. Have a wonderful day and happy, happy Thanksgiving to all of you.